My sister questioned if my son was really my husband's, so I exposed her secret at her shower. I still can't believe my sister did this to me. My sister Mia has always been jealous, but I never thought she'd try to wreck my marriage in front of our whole family. A few months ago, our parents had a big dinner for their 40th anniversary. My husband Kenny and I brought our two kids, Dan and Jen. Mia came late, already a little tipsy, and looked annoyed that everyone was focused on Dan. He's 4 and was telling a goofy story about a girl from preschool he said he was going to marry. Everyone laughed. Then Mia stood up with her wine glass and said, "Funny how everyone is obsessed with Dan when he doesn't look anything like Kenny." The whole table went silent. I thought she was joking, but she pointed at my son and said, "He has black hair. Neither of you do, but Jake did. Jake was my ex from before I met Kenny." I told her to stop, but she smirked and said if I had nothing to hide, I shouldn't mind a DNA test. My dad snapped at her. My mom started crying. I grabbed my kids and walked out. On the way home, Dan asked why Aunt Mia was mad, and I nearly lost it. But the worst part came after. Mia's comment got inside our house. Kenny tried to act normal, but I saw it. He'd stare at Dan too long. Every fight circled back to that night. After weeks of tension, Kenny said we needed the test so we could move on. I hated him for asking, but I was terrified of losing my marriage, so I did it. Sitting in that clinic with my little boy felt awful. Dan thought it was just a normal checkup and asked if he'd get a sticker after. The results came back exactly how I knew they would. Kenny was Dan's father. The black hair came from Kenny's grandfather. Kenny apologized, but I couldn't forget what Mia had done or how close she came to destroying us. Then 2 months later, Mia announced she was pregnant. Everyone was thrilled because she'd been trying for years. Tom looked happier than I'd ever seen him, but something felt off the second she said she was 12 weeks along. 8 weeks earlier, at a family barbecue, she'd been drinking hard seltzers one after another. Mia is paranoid about everything. There was no way she thought she was pregnant then. After that, I started noticing things. She talked non-stop about her new trainer, Marcus. She kept posting selfies with him from the gym, always standing too close. At another cookout, I watched Tom ask who she was texting because she kept smiling at her phone. She locked it and said it was work. Later that night, I checked her social media. Marcus liked everything she posted. She liked everything he posted. The comments were way too flirty for trainer and client. Then a friend told me she'd seen Mia and Marcus at a coffee shop looking very cozy. I should have let it go, but I couldn't. She'd thrown poison into my house, and I needed to know if she was lying in hers. So I hired a private investigator. A week later, he sent me photos of Mia and Marcus going into hotels together more than once. Then he recovered deleted messages. They talked about secret meetups, Tom's work schedule, and how easy it was to sneak around. Then I saw the text that made everything click. Tom thinks all this gym time is helping me get pregnant. The dates matched perfectly. I didn't call Mia. I waited. Her baby shower was the next weekend. Both families were there, pink balloons everywhere, gifts stacked on a table, and Tom walking around smiling like this was the best day of his life. Mia wore a white dress and acted like a queen. When it was time for speeches, I stood up and said, "After what you did to me over Dan, I learned how important certainty is." Her smile dropped. I took out my phone and read her messages to Marcus out loud. "Can't wait until Tom works late again. You make me feel better than he ever did. He still thinks the gym is why this is finally happening." Nobody moved. You could hear a spoon hit a plate. Tom looked at Mia, then at me, like he couldn't process it. Mia jumped up and said I was lying. I handed Tom the photos and screenshots. His hands shook while he looked at the hotel pictures, the dates, the texts. Then he looked at his wife and asked very quietly, "Is this baby mine?" Mia started crying and said it wasn't what it looked like. Then she said it only happened a few times. Then she covered her face and admitted she didn't know. Tom went pale. He stepped back when she reached for him, dropped the papers on the gift table, and walked straight out the gate without saying another word. Now my family is saying I went too far at her shower. Was I wrong?